Welcome back to Scottish Clock World. I upload new clock repair videos on Sunday and Wednesday mornings of every week. There's the chain. I'll pull that all the way through now. We'll get rid of that. We'll seriously have to give that a bit of a clean. Look at all the rust on it. Put the cannon pipe back on again. And there's our little movement. Right, we'll put that through the ultrasonic cleaner. Then I'll just check the weight wheel to make sure it runs. Actually, I'll take it to pieces. It'll be the best shot. Alright, which we can do simply because we got some nuts on the end of it. Tiny little nuts. Right. I'll find a spanner to fit those. They're pretty damn tiny too. Not quite. What's that? 5. No, that's 4.5 and it's too tiny. And the 5's too big. Well, that's pretty clever. I might have to use... That's at 4.5. That's 5 again. I might have to... Nope. We're right with this set. Yep, they loosen up. Turn it round. Turn the movement round. Loosen the nuts up. How cool is that? We've got a novelty movement in a very, very cheap little clock that was sold in the Black Forest for tourists who didn't want to spend a wad of money on buying a proper cuckoo clock. They could have a souvenir that was quite inexpensive. It was a genuine article, still made in the Black Forest by their artisans, and just dropped a nut. Last one to go. So that's why these movements were made. And there we have it. I'll take the top plate off. Rather carefully. And there is our tiny little movement. Alright, we're going to put that through the ultrasonic cleaner now, clean it up, then we'll oil it, then we'll put the movement back together again. Alright, there are the parts in the ultrasonic cleaner basket. I'll put it into the cleaner now for 5 minutes. Alright, the parts are back from the ultrasonic cleaner. We'll take them out of the dish. They're the nuts that hold the pillars together. They look nice and clean. Put them over there. There's the back plate. Right, now we'll start to put the movement together again. Then we can oil it. We just check that make sure the ratchet's working properly. And it only turns in one direction. It does. Alright, we'll set that up on the back of the case there. The pivots into the holes in the plate. Escape wheel goes there. That way up. Not very easy to see in there actually. Alright, I'll put the escape wheel in first. We'll come back to the second wheel. Sits over the top of it like so. Right, now we'll put the top plate on. Goes on that way. Line the pillars. We'll put a nut on there initially to hold that while we align the pivots. There's my pivot tool. Down there that text says Germany. We knew it came from there anyway, from the Black Forest. I'll get the first wheel in, that's got him. Now I can put a nut on that pillar there. Whoop. Not very easy to wind down these tiny little guys, especially got gloves on. Alright, that's got them. Now we can start to put the pivots in. First wheel, move him across a little bit, and do that nut tiny bit. That should be just past it. Oh, lift that up, and there he goes. That's got him. He's in. Now, escape wheel comes over a little bit. Where are we? Tiny bit more. There we go. That's got him. Just come in there. I'll tighten these bottom couple of nuts a little bit because we've got to put the... I think those pivots could do with a bit of a clean actually. I'll get one of my 2000 mesh cleaning sticks and put it on the pivot there and just rotate it. Yeah, that looks cleaner. Had a little bit of verdigris on it there before on both ends. Hard to see, but there is a little bit of verdigris on there. So we'll take that off with some 2000 grit paper, just holding the sticks like so, winding the assembly backwards and forwards. Yep, that's pretty good. That looks pretty good. And the rest looks alright too. Good-o. Right, now we'll put this into the movement. Goes in that side there. And we'll have to lift the plate a tiny bit to get that into there. They're relatively loose, so there we go. Slipped in under now. Need to pull it down just a tiny little bit. Being careful of the pivot so we don't snap it. And whoop, virtually went in, then dropped out. Now we've got, there it is. That's got it. I'll tighten down these couple of nuts so it doesn't drop out again. And right, I'll put a nut, they're all in, I'll put a nut on here before we do anything else, so that we don't lose it again, hopefully. Right, see what we got. Alright, put the other nut on. Tiny little things these. That's got him. Alright, check to make sure that all the pivots are in place. We're not going to break any. Now we'll tighten the nuts down over the other side, and that's the last one. Almost done. Okay, so there we go. That looks alright. Now we'll oil the movement and then we'll clean the chain. Now we're not going to need much oil on this. We're not going to need much oil on these pivots, so I'll use a watch oiler so we can put just a tiny little bit of oil on each of these pivots. A couple on the minute arbor. We'll put one inside on the first wheel there. On the escape wheel. And on our pallets crutch assembly up there. Right, I'll put the cannon arbor on in a minute. Just want to get the rest working a little bit. Okay, well, they're all done. I won't put the cannon arbor on at the moment. We've got to get the chain clean so I can put the chain on. Then we can put the movement back into the case.